Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time this video finds you. I send you greetings and gratitude. Grateful for you stopping by to chat with me for a bit. My name is Janine, folks, and this is Get the Pen. Remember, you can always go to getthepen.net to learn more about me and my books. And that's what I do, books, and we get the pen. I try to say something inspirational. So, speaking of getting the pen, today's shout out goes to Sophia Logan, who penned this book called Our Journey Through ADHD and Asperger Syndrome. Great read, very insightful. Takes you on a journey. It's very inspirational and informative if you want to learn about ADHD and Asperger's syndrome and how to navigate raising a child with such conditions, or if you just want to be able to relate and have compassion for someone else who is. This is a wonderful read. It takes you on her journey. I sat and wanted to cry with her, wanted to feel victorious with her. I went through every emotion, well written, so relatable, and I was able to connect. And I hope that you will go to Amazon and type in Sophia Logan, and this title should pop up, or you can type it in Our Journey Through ADHD and Asperger's Syndrome. Recommended read for this week and this week's shout out. So this week, and I want to mention, and I'm not going to read from one of my books, but I just want to remind you that Grief to Growth is available and doing well. The coloring book with grief therapeutic words. I don't know if that's a proper phrase, but I've gotten some positive feedback, and we're going to be doing a workshop with the coloring book. So today, I want to share with you something that I wrote for our company newsletter. And as some of you know, I do work for a hospice company. So keep in mind while I'm reading that this is from a hospice worker's perspective. As a hospice chaplain, I have so many encounters, so many stories to tell and share. And I don't know that I will ever be able to share them all, but I do want to share as many as I possibly can. I've been doing this for nearly 20 years, and I cannot even count how many families I have worked with over the years. Since 2005, I have worked with every age group from neonatal to geriatric. I've got patients over 100 years old, and I just love hearing the stories, and it's such an honor to be with people during such a sacred time in their lives. And even though it is a sacred time, sometimes it can be a difficult time for patients and their families. But our goal is to make it a peaceful and loving time. That is the goal of hospice, and why I like working in hospice so much. So this article again, it's an adaptation of one of my previous writings that you would find in one of my books. You might even find it in the Grief Files or the book series entitled Those Inspirational Articles I Wrote, because this is an adaptation of a previously written article, and I modified it to be appropriate for hospice workers to help hospice workers to be mindful when we're working with patients. So last week I read one article, and this is another one that I thought I would share from a previous newsletter. So the title of it is called Remember. So this, I just want you again to keep in mind, this is a hospice situation. If you've dealt with hospice before, you understand. If you have not, and in the future you do, this will give you just something to think about in your interactions with family if someone is at end of life. Remember, and this was during one of my encounters that I'm talking about. There was a woman who stumbled across an old medal that she had won in high school, and it said first place track. It took her mind back to when she was a pretty amazing at something. She was good at something. A time when she was thriving in life, a time when she was in her prime. Suddenly, she remembered how good it felt to be recognized and valued for something she did very well. Over the years, she had lost that feeling and forgot what it felt like to be amazing. So she put the medal down, only to return to the mundane life she found herself in. She went from a brief high to an even lower low. How did I get here? She asked. Kids, a bad relationship, a dead end job, and a matchbox apartment she ended up in. Once believed to be very likely to succeed, her life felt nothing like success. But for a moment, when she held that medal in her hand, she felt like somebody special. She remembered. Something inside her was ignited, and she wanted that feeling back. The feeling of doing something meaningful. It's easy to forget. Sometimes we need to remember who we are. We have to remember how amazing we are in the present tense. Even when our situation isn't what we may want it to be, we can appreciate that we have done something great in life. We are fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and sometimes we need reminders. There are some things from our past that we need to forget, but just as well, there are some things we need to remember. Forget the things that weigh down your spirit, and remember the things that teach you and remind you that you are gifted and wired for greatness. There is a difference between remembering and dwelling. Remembering is using the past to teach, empower, and strengthen us. Remembering can help you grow. Now, dwelling on something means that you're stuck in the past and you haven't been able to make a connection and establish relevance between the past and the present. Dwelling on the past and living in it while the present day passes by. That's what dwelling is. Dwelling causes a disconnect and it detaches you from the present. Former glory means nothing if you don't know how to use it or make it useful for today. So, let us remember what is good. There is a Bible scripture that reminds us whatever is true, whatsoever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think on such things. That comes from Philippians 4:8. As we care for our patients or care for our loved ones, we are faced with our mortality every day. While we remember our own purpose and accomplishments, we have the opportunity to help our patients and families see and remember theirs as well. Through reflective conversations, life review, and legacy projects, we can create reminders that their lives are fulfilled with meaningful achievements that will forever impact the world. Whether they became a parent or a grandparent, had a great career, or participated in community service, military service, won an award, or did something heroic, we can put a spotlight on that contribution that they made, even if it's just the fact that they exist. We can put a spotlight on that pleasant memory, even if just for a few moments. We can help create a keepsake for when they need that reminder that says, you are amazing. You did something great. Just like the lady who held the medal that she had won in her glory days, our patients and families can have a similar experience. Great moments to remember, a snapshot of a glorious memory. This is the gift that we can give. These remembrances are not only gifts to our patients and our friends and our families, but we can also give this gift to ourselves and use memories to inspire us. Reminders of our greatness and our purpose will help us overcome and become even greater at everything we do. So it is good to remember how awesome you were and are. And sometimes we need those reminders, especially when we find ourselves in a rut or finding ourselves not using our potential or feeling like we are on a downward spiral. Let us remember who we are. Remember the glory that was revealed in us and that it still can be revealed in us, maybe in a different way. You may not be able to run track and win a medal again, but you can be a light and a beacon of hope to your family. You can impart your wisdom and knowledge and help the next generation to be even greater. So remember, sometimes we need to remember in a good way, in a useful way, in a positive way. Don't dwell on things that weigh you down. Don't get stuck back there. Use your memories to propel yourself into a wonderful and beautiful, glorious future. My name is Janine, folks. This has been Get the Pen. I hope you click share, like, and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Take care.